Hey everybody, this is Mike with another crowdfunding preview. Today it is Cosmoctopus, which is a competitive game for 1 to 4 players designed by Henry Audubon. And I'll be doing a playthrough of the solo mode and then giving my impressions at the end. And as always, we accept no compensation for our crowdfunding coverage. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you enjoy the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also check out our separate streaming channel for even more content. We have a podcast with 1 to 2 episodes every week, and a Discord if you want to come and talk to us. So in Cosmoctopus, you are moving the Cosmoctopus around the inky realm, these 9 tiles, and they can be arranged in different configurations. And a player's turn is incredibly simple. You can move Cosmoctopus 1 orthogonal space. You can discard resources, 1 resource per move to move them further. And wherever they land, you get the bonuses of that space, which is going to be 1 of the 4 main resources, and then sometimes also a card draw. And you have a hand of cards. You start out with 5, and you can play 1 card after you move Cosmoctopus. You must move Cosmoctopus, and I should have said he can't end up on the same space as he started. And then you can play 1 card. The cost to play it is up here in the corner. The gray diamond is a generic cost that any resource can be used for, but then you have these specific resources that you're collecting from moving around the board. And then at the end of your turn, you have to discard down to 8 of any given resource type and 8 cards. You can't have more than 8 of any one thing. And some of the cards will give you tentacles. Mostly it's going to be these green constellation cards. Once you play one, every time you get resources, you can put 1 of the specific resource types on these cards. You have to start with the upper left and then follow the arrows. And once it's filled out, you get a tentacle and whatever bonuses are indicated down here. Some other cards will also give you tentacles, like this red Echoes of a Forgotten World. And finally, in the game, you always have 4 Forbidden Knowledge tokens. If you can get 13 of a given resource and spend it, now remember you have to discard down to 8 of a resource at the end of each turn, so it's not that easy to do that, then you get 2 tentacles for your trouble. And the first player to get to 8 tentacles wins the game. You'll notice Octopus, there's a lot of 8s in the game. Now to go into a bit more detail on the card types, first you have the kind of tomes, I forget what they're called, or transcripts or manuscripts, the ones that cost ink. They will give you a permanent discount on other cards of a certain type. So like if I got this scale-bound Tractatus, okay, then I would spend 3 less Whispers, the red resource, on, for example, Echoes of a Forgotten World. Now that would cost 2 red and 5 yellow instead of 5 red. The yellow ones, I think, are relics or artifacts. They will mostly give you a bonus to the amount of resources you collect when you move onto certain spaces. So here now, every time I get green resources, I would get 1 more. There are other ones with other effects, but those are the most common. The constellations I already talked about. They are a consistent way to get tentacles. And then the red ones are one-off events. So you pay, you resolve what it says, and then you discard it. And that's about it for the main play. Let's look at how the solo player opposes you. So you're playing against this private investigator. You'll have 1 card from their main deck face up at a time. The main thing that you have to look at for here is it has a magnifying glass and then a color. And you place the magnifying glass tokens on the 2 tiles that correspond to that color and that resource type. These tiles are now investigated. If I end Cosmoctopus's move on one of those tiles to gain the bonuses on it, then I give the private investigator 1 resource of that type. And you're going to see that's what propels them towards getting their own tentacles and winning the game, so you don't want to do that too much. Additionally, at the start of each private investigator turn, they always go after you. You're going to look at the 3 cards in the card offer. By the way, when you draw cards, it's almost always going to be from here. There are very few effects that have you draw from the top of the deck. Once a card is gone, you immediately replace it. So yeah, you'll look at the types, the colors of the cards in the card offer, and the private investigator gets those specific resources. So here they would get 2 yellows and 1 green. So after the PI has gained resources based on the market row, they will first check if they have 13 of a resource that has not yet had the Forbidden Knowledge taken. So they hunt for Forbidden Knowledge first. They will not spend any resources unless they can get to 13, so they just keep on building up for that. And if they have the 13, they'll spend it, they'll take the Forbidden Knowledge, they'll get the 2 tentacles, and based on their current card, they'll do something nasty like making the player lose all yellow resources in this case. Now, for resources where the Forbidden Knowledge has already been taken by them or by me, they instead are going for 8 resources, and each time they get 8, they will spend those to get a single tentacle and do a lesser effect to the player. And on any turn where they got any number of tentacles, they will flip a new card. They'll be investigating a new type of space. You'll move their little magnifying glasses there. Once they get to 5 tentacles, they flip this card over here. It's going to give them an ongoing ability, so they kind of become a little bit nastier for the second half of the game. And if they get to 8 tentacles before you do, they win. So with that, let's get into the game. Looking at what I'm starting with, I've got Beyond the Infinite Rainbow, costs a bunch of red. Lets me play a constellation from the card row for free. I do like getting constellations out early, so that as I get resources, I fill up their spots. Twin Scale Gemini will get me a ton of green and red, which is exactly what it needs to be filled. Sea Drenched Journal costs 8, but it's ridiculous. It gives me for the rest of the game a 3 discount on any of the generic costs I have to pay, which it will often cut like the cost of cards in half. Faraway Tentacle, let me draw 2 cards from the discard pile. That's potentially cool. And yeah, this is a great combo that I haven't had before. Glimpse Another Reality, 3 red and 3 generic. Play a card from your hand for free. For example, a 8-cost Sea Drenched Journal. Ha ha ha. And yeah, I have 2 of each resource, so if I wanted to play that, I need to get at least 1 more red, 1 more Whisper, and then spend 3 other stuff. So let's do that for my first turn. So I'm starting over here. I've got a lot of +3 spots, actually all of them next to each other, which is pretty nice for potentially getting the Forbidden Knowledge. Like I can bounce back and forth between a couple of them and maybe get 2 of those Forbidden Knowledges that way. That'll be my plan later, I think. But let's go here and get 3 Whispers. And then I'm going to play Glimpse Into the Reality, so I'll spend 3 Whispers. And I think both my inks for 2 of the generic, since I'm saving 8 ink here. And 1 more something. I have a good red card to play, and I have some green cards. There's no yellows that are super interesting yet, so I'll spend 1 yellow for it. So that goes away, but it lets me play Sea Drenched Journal. I'm going to have the things I've played just in a second row above. So now Twin Scale Gemini would be 5 green, but only 2 gray, or Faraway Tentacle would just be 3 green. Oh, I can definitely play that next turn if I can get some green for myself. Meanwhile, for the offer, I've got Nameless Nightmare, which will let me play a red card for free. That's pretty cool. Call from Beneath the Waves costs 8, but play any card from the discard pile for free. Jeez. And Sentient Ink Pot costs a ton, but lets me spend ink as any other resource, which isn't really that good on its own unless I get some things that actually make ink more easy to procure. But that's red, green, yellow. So those are currently like my more dangerous resources as they try to build up to 13. And back to my turn. Let's skip the 3 green so I can play that card I wanted to play, which was Faraway Tentacle. It's going to cost me 3 green, but nothing else thanks to my Sea Drenched Journal. And now I need to get a green first, and then Whisper and yellow and ink. I forget what yellow is in any order. So I definitely need to get some more cards as well. And the AI is getting the same as before. So the resources that are easier for me to get right now, if I want to like potentially fight over Forbidden Knowledge, are green and red. So I probably want to get rid of one of those cards before they go too far with it. So this time let's move over here, get 1 Whisper, and yeah, I'll grab Call from Beneath the Waves. It's very expensive, but playing a card from the discard is nice. Now, unfortunately, I'm not getting either of the type of cards that I love best, which are yellow cards that give me bonuses to my resource gathering, or black cards that give me discounts on like these upper left things, because both of those make it possible to get Forbidden Knowledge. You either need to have like a way to get a bunch of resources at once, or you need to have a way to discount it down to where you can grab enough resources. So this might be a Forbidden Knowledge light game, which means I'd have to like really heavily hit these constellations. That might be tough. And I certainly can't play anything at the moment. Although I guess Beyond the Infinite Rainbow is somewhat close for me. And I might want to play that in a second because the AI just got a second green in the row, so they're really accelerating to that Forbidden Knowledge quickly. So yeah, with that in mind, let's pay 1 resource to bounce over the green and get 3 red. And that gives me, so I need to spend 1. I'm not getting any yellows right now. So let's spend 5 red. The rest is free, and play Beyond the Infinite Rainbow. I can play a constellation for free. And hey, if it's free, might as well go for the more expensive one, right? I'll get Nameless Nightmare. So I gotta start with a red, then get a black, and then I can go to green and yellow. Would have cost me 3 and 5, so definitely saving some there. Then we got another red card. Float Upon the Ephemeral River. Play a hallucination from the card row for free. That's not very useful yet. That brings us back to red, green, yellow. Gotta slow down at least some of those and maybe get some black cards collecting resources here. All right, but for me, let's go ahead and get some more green. I'm closer to playing another constellation from my hand, although not quite enough yet. And then I can also start off Faraway Tentacle. And now, like next turn, if I move up to the red, I can get both of these going, and then maybe I can get to the ink. So yeah, we'll try to finish off some constellations and see if that will take care of us in some way. But the PI, oh man, how close are they? 7, 8, 6. Yeah, it's not great. Be just a few more turns before they come for me. 3 Whispers, but sadly I'm not getting many of them because they're going onto my constellations. Alright, yeah, I might just need to like find a card draw action to stop this from being a total destruction fest. But I do want to, yeah, I do want to move up here. I'll spend one of my whispers because the 3 ink is going to almost finish off both of these. So I'm getting close to my first tentacles, but I am letting the PI keep going. Oh my gosh, 10. And if I wanted to get the yellow resource, which is one of the ones I need to finish off my constellations, I would need to give the PI another yellow. Let's do the maybe safer option. I'm going to move here and get a green. I will put it on Nameless Nightmares, I guess. Although, if I took it, I could play Twin Scale. Well, let's do that. Then I can draw. So they're really close to getting green and red and yellow. But my Constellation's about to finish. They let me play cards from my hand or from Constellations for free. So I want to leave a Constellation up here so I can play it, potentially. Oh no, do I grab the Sentient Inkpot? Sure. Oh, another red came out. Oh my gosh, give me 8 green if I complete that. That's cool. And the Lightning Ball means you can play another card on your turn if you have the stuff to do so, which with 8 I'm sure I would. All right, again, they're getting 2 red and a green. 5, 10, 11, 5, 10. So I'm going to survive for one more turn if I don't get any cards, and then they're going to pop 2 of the Forbidden Knowledges at once. Oh my gosh. But at least gold is slowed down for the moment, which is especially good because I'm going to go give them 1. I think I'll spend my 1 ink for that extra move. But that gets me 3 gold. I'll go ahead and give the AI 1 as well. So this would let me play a red for free. So I could get Call Beneath the Waves, which would let me play any card from the discard pile for free. And this let me draw from the discard pile. So I could kind of get a little wacky here. Or I could even, I think I resolve these in whatever order I want. So I think I could do Nameless Nightmare, and then discard Nameless Nightmare, and then use Call from Beneath the Waves to play Nameless Nightmare again. Although I could also play a card from my hand for free, which would be Twin Scale Gemini, which is at least more expensive than Nameless Nightmare, so probably better. And I just realized Twin Scale Gemini would get me enough extra resources potentially to get a Forbidden Knowledge, but it's both the types that the PI is about to get, so that probably won't work out. But sure, what the heck. Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish Nameless Nightmare first. I can play a red, I'll play Call from Beneath the Waves, I'll play Glimpse into the Reality to play a card from my hand for free, which will be Twin Scale Gemini. And then I'll finish off Faraway Tentacle, and then get 2 cards from the discard pile to my hand. Let's go and get the play a card from your hand for free and Beyond the Infinite Rainbow. 8 red is hard to get, but with my discounts, these aren't too bad. And I get my first 2 tentacles on the board first, but the PI is going to catch up in 10 seconds. And I got very little in my hand now, so I definitely need to spend at least a little bit of time card drawing. And resource-wise, I also want to get a star to get Twin Scale Gemini going. All right, and the AI is getting 1 green. That's 5, 10, 12. And 2 red, also 5, 10, 12. So actually, if I can grab a green card this next turn, I'll stop them, unless they draw another one, I'll stop them from being able to finish this off. That seems excellent. So yeah, with that in mind, let's go here, get 1 Whisper, and get a card. And we'll draw Curious Lobster and hope they don't replace it with you. But, well, darn. All right, well, I'll go ahead and play Curious Lobster for 3 with my discount. That's all I have to pay. But yeah, all right, so they get 2 Whispers, so they're actually going to have 1 left over after buying the Forbidden Knowledge. And they get the 1 green they needed. So they shoot up in a second to 4 out of their 8 tentacles. And they twice trigger me losing all my gold resources. Luckily, I only have 1. But that is going to flip a new card, so now they're investigating ink. I'm fine with that. Oh, geez, I just realized I cheated a little bit. Faraway Tentacle specifically lets you draw 2 constellations from the discard pile. So I could have gotten Nameless Nightmare back, but not these other things. Oh, I just realized I didn't even put the things in my hand, did I? I was supposed to... Oh, no, did I? I'm trying to remember what the heck I did. So I used Nameless Nightmare to play Call from Beneath the Waves, play any card from the discard pile for free, which was play a card from my hand for free, which got out Twin Scale Gemini. So yeah, I think when Faraway Tentacle went off, could it get itself back? Let's be nice and say it could. All right, so I think that's what I should have had if I was playing correctly. So with that in mind, let's just go hard on Constellations. I wish I had anything that boosted Constellation actions. I'm getting 3 greens, so that'll be 1, and then I'll spend the other 3 to play Faraway Tentacle since I get the discount. There we go. So now a red and then a green will work out well for me. And our friend over here is still hunting red and green, although now if they get 8 red, they'll get a single tentacle and spend them. And yeah, I'm back in my corner, getting 3 Whispers. We'll get 1, 2 of them spent right away. Ooh, next turn, if I get the 3 green space, I'll be able to do all 3 of those. That's pretty good. And still 2 red and a green for the PI. What are they going to do? They're going to get some ink when they get their next tentacle. That's totally okay, because they've barely done anything with that. And yeah, as planned, I'm just going to get 3 greens and put them all in my constellations. Boom, boom, boom. So what do I need next? Reds would be fine. Inks and yellows. Okay, so. Oh, nice. And I can just go 1, 2, 3. I guess I'll give them an ink, but I don't really care too much about that. Although, actually, ink will not be the preferred resource in a moment because they're going to get a tentacle next turn from reds. And for me, let's go up and get reds. That's 1, 2. I guess that's it. Then I'm getting 5 green and 5 red. Ooh, so I'm actually wasting a red because I'm going to go up to 9 and then back down to 8. That's okay. Oh, wait, actually, I can play a card. Let's play Nameless Nightmare for 3 of those 5 greens. And I need 2 more generics, so I'll spend, I guess, 2 reds. And then I'm not over my resource cap. Lovely. And that was my 3rd tentacle compared to their 4. Well, soon to be 5. Now Nameless Nightmare's not going to get started for a little while, is it? But that's okay. All right, and they get 2 red, 1 green. The reds pop, which sadly brings them to their 5 bonus. If I want to move Cosmoctopus onto an investigated Inky Realm tile, you must now give them, 2 matching resources instead of 1. So now it's doubly bad to move into, okay, Whispers. I just went there, so I don't need to go there for a little bit longer. That's probably a good, lucky one. Anyhow, I'll just stick with my plan. Go get 3 yellow. Oh, and speaking of getting resources, I forgot the last card for them. I want to give them 2 ink when they got a tentacle. But yes, 3 yellow. So boop, boop. Just need to go to the ink spot. Last one I can't use yet. And I can't play anything because I don't have anything in my hand. But these will fix that pretty quickly. And I haven't taken a card in forever, so they're still getting 2 red and 1 green. Getting close to a tentacle on that too. So I'll take a card next turn. Let's go ahead and get 3 ink. Going to finish off Curious Lobster and Faraway Tentacle. So I'm up to 5 tentacles. Tied. Nice. Let's see. I get 2 reds from the discard pile. I guess play a card from your hand for free and play a constellation for free. Sound pretty good. Or actually play any card from the discard pile for free. Maybe I'll do instead. Not that I have 8 reds. Oh, actually, I'm kind of close. That's Curious Lobster. And again, I'm not 100% sure about the order of operations here, but I think I can use Faraway Tentacle to get both of these back. And maybe itself, not quite sure. And then can I play anything? I can play Beyond the Infinite Rainbow to play a constellation for free. I've got 5 red. The gray is free. And the only constellation in the card row is Starshell Tortoise. All right. So, I mean, constellation seems to be the way I'm going. The thing is, there are tons of yellow cards that like boost these, like let you fill in spaces on them automatically. I haven't seen any. So I'm going a strategy that is not really... Oh, Impossible Tuning Fork. Whenever you play a red card, you may pay 5 gold and 5 gray to resolve the card effect twice. That's way too expensive. That card is basically dead to me. Oh no! Yellow! They were very close to getting the yellow Forbidden Knowledge. I might just have to go get that as an action. But yeah, I can't play anything right now because I don't have enough green to get either of these out. They're still getting 2 red, but now 1 yellow instead of green. So... that's good and bad. Where are they at? 5, 10, 11. So I have 2 turns to grab that yellow card. Well, here, let's do this. It gets me a yellow resource for the Starshell Tortoise. And then I can grab the Impossible Tuning Fork just to stop them from advancing yellow. Atlas of the Branching Paths. So yeah, this would give me a discount on all red cards, which would have been nice earlier. And this is the Submerge icon. You get rid of all the yellow and black cards from the offer row, and then you get to move Cosmoctopus once for each of them, which is 0 right now. But I do like that it's a black card. That's awesome, since that is super far from them getting the Forbidden Knowledge. Yeah, they only have 5 ink with that, but then 2 red again, so they are about to get another tentacle for red, and I can't do a lot about it. Yeah, and I don't want to give them 2 red and speed that up even faster, so I guess I'll jump over to green. I'll spend an ink to do that. Gives me 3 green. I can fill in the Starshell Tortoise. And with the other 4, let's spend 3 of it and play Curious Lobster again. So hopefully they'll clear off red in a second, and I can start those going. And I have 5 tentacles, so if I can finish all 3 of these, I will win before they do. That is the race against time at this point, so no need to play any other constellations or really much of anything necessarily. And still 2 reds and black for them, which is honestly not too bad for me, because yes, they're getting tentacles from the reds, but black, they need 7 more to get the Forbidden Knowledge. Now, that would be a win for them, but that's a lot of turns to finish off my constellations. What is this? That's counted to 8. They got 1 left. They get their 6th tentacle. PI gains 1 red when they do that. And now they're investigating ink, which I do need for my constellations. It's not necessarily great. That would speed up their inking process. Okay. But we can save that for last, right? So let's get 3 reds. And look how pretty this is. So what do I need next? 3 inks. If I go there, I'm going to help them out, but it would fill out all my inks. And then I just got to get... So I need like 3 more turns. Get to the ink, get to the green, get to the gold. Done, win. So it's all about just not letting them get too much ink. So if I give them 2 ink, that'll take them to 9, and they'll get 10 on their turn. Yeah, so I think I'm going to win the race for time here. I think I am. I'm going to move there, spending a gold, whatever. Giving them 2 ink. Remember, they're hunting for 13. But I finished Starshell Tortoise. Ooh, that lets me move Cosmoctopus. I think I might win a little bit faster than I thought. So yeah, I get my 6th. I wish it was my 8th tentacle. Then I move Cosmoctopus straight to the +3 spot, which is one of the ones I wanted to go to anyway. So you go straight here and you benefit as though you had gone there yourself, which means boop and boop. Oh yeah. And the PI sees the writing on the wall. He's almost to his 7th tentacle there. He's very close to getting the Forbidden Knowledge there. But it doesn't matter, buddy, because 1, 2, I can use any of my resources. Gets me 3 greens. Boop, boop, 2 more tentacles. And with that, Cosmoctopus's majesty becomes absolute. And I win the game just a turn or 2 before the PI. Nice. So yeah, let's get into my thoughts on this one. So first, I will say that for solo variants and solo games, I tend to like an actual opponent to go against. And this sort of has that. I think needing to race them for the Forbidden Knowledge and trying to take away cards from the row so they don't build up too quickly to certain colors, I think that definitely gives a feel of opposition, but it still also kind of feels like they're just a bit of a timer as they build up their resources. So, if you're like me and you like sort of a direct Atoma, that's a little more tough to run, but acts more like a real player. This game's not giving that, but it is super quick to run. Their turns take almost no time at all, which also makes it nice to use in competitive games if you want to fill out the player count. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to love this solo mode. It's not quite the type that I prefer, but it does have a nice amount of interaction, again, with that racing for the Forbidden Knowledge and all of that. I also think that the movement of the board in solo is going to depend a bit on your taste. In competitive, you have a lot more of moving around a bit more, erratically with the other players and them trying to take it away from spots that you want to go to, so you have to pay more to get back there. In solo, you have kind of perfect control. The only slight hindrance that comes up is the investigation tiles, which do work. They do make you want to avoid going somewhere too much for a little while. And a lot of solo players are going to appreciate that they can really plan out multiple turns in a row, the exact sequence of spots they want to go to get things. So I think, again, a lot of players are going to enjoy that. For me, I wouldn't mind a bit more dynamic stuff, so I can't just kind of abuse the same spaces over and over again. But you get that in competitive, so it's okay. The card play and the engine building are certainly fun, one of the highlights. I love the crazy names on the cards, and there are a lot of strategies to pursue. This is the first time I've gone full on Constellation. Now, did I cheat in drawing constellations that I'd played? Maybe. But yeah, this was a very different game that I've had before, so I like that. There are lots of different strategies. Again, I've also had games where I got a lot of ink discounts or got a lot of resource boosters, the resources you get more of them, and then went really hard for Forbidden Knowledges. In this game, I didn't get a single Forbidden Knowledge, so it is nice that the game can play out differently, and you do get a feeling of your engine really growing quickly. Usually, this game I didn't really get that much, except for the engine of completing constellations to get other constellations. And that is going to depend more on the card row and what comes out. In solo, you don't have any kind of extra cycling from other players, so cards kind of tend to stay there more. Now, I think that's fine because the act of trying to keep the card row not too favorable to the private investigator does add a lot more interaction and interest in here. But yeah, you are definitely going to get some bad luck sometimes. Like the time that I was, trying to lock them out of a certain color, and then it just happened to top deck the exact same color. There's certainly some randomness in this, but the entire solo game is 20 or 30 minutes, so I don't think it's going to hurt anybody's soul for that. But just be aware that the randomness of when the cards come out and whether cards match your strategy or not, can be a little bit of a frustration in solo specifically. In competitive, you get more cards cycling. It's not as much of an issue. And yeah, I do love the combo possibility in here. You saw me doing a bit of this, not as much as in some other games, but using one card to get resources to play another card, to get a discount for another card. And especially when you can do multiple of those in a single turn with those lightning bolt symbols, it can feel super satisfying, does really give that nice engine building feel, but in a very quick playtime. So I appreciate that. And yeah, the theme is basically insane, and I enjoy that. I remember when Henry Audubon, the designer, taught me the game at PAX U last year, and he was just talking about it like he was part of a cult. And I was like, oh, Henry Audubon, you're a nice guy, but I don't know if I want to join your octopus cult. And then I was like, oh, good, you designed a game. You're not crazy. So yes, this is a fun one. I think it has some nice theme in how the rules are described and in the names of the cards and stuff. So that might add to enjoyment for this. But go check out the crowdfunding page for yourself, see what you think. And for now, good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.